Recently, Glenn Beck was talking about his experiences on Fox News and how remorseful he was for saying some pretty stupid things. If you don't remember the clip, take a quick look.
When you live your life 5 hours a day on live television or radio, you're going to say stupid things. And you're going to say things because you do it in your cubicle. You do it on the air, I'm sure.
Sure, people do it on G-Chat. People do it on Facebook.
We do it.
They just don't do it from a national podium.
That's right.
So he seems pretty remorseful there, and he has a long record of saying some pretty terrible things about lots of different people. One of those people is Meghan McCain. And recently, Meghan McCain took issue with his apology on her own show called Take Part Live on Pivot TV. Here's her response to Glenn Beck's very broad apology. Take a look.
Well, I need to preface this by saying Glenn Beck and I have a long, storied history with one another for a very long time. And the most fucked up, disgusting, worst, most insulting things anyone has ever said about me, hands down ever in my entire life, came out of this man's mouth. So what I want to know is, does he regret that? My thing with this now is like, what you say on TV matters, no matter who you are. And if you're the type of person that's going to divide America, which I believe Glenn Beck has played a part in doing, are you now taking culpability? Because Ann Coulter and all these people, what you say, Americans listen to, and right now, my party is completely and utterly divided, and we are losing elections, and I believe it's this man's fault to a degree. My other thing is the things he has said to me, my response, I was like, you have daughters. Do you ever think about what they're going to think or what you're saying about women and to women in the media? I'm just glad that I have a father that has never done anything like that. If Glenn Beck wants to come on this show, I'm happy to have a conversation with him. I think pigs will fly out my ass sooner than that man will come on my show, but we can try.
All right, and so she's upset because there was one instance where she did a PSA about skin cancer, and his reaction was ridiculous. Let's take a quick look at the PSA, and then I'll show you his reaction.
My mother would be so ashamed.
Don't be one of 20 people who will die today from skin cancer. If you leave the house without sunscreen, you might as well be naked. To learn how to protect yourself from this deadly disease, go to mystyle.com.
All right, and then Glenn Beck's response was...
Watching this Meghan McCain video where she's naked, and I just...
Oh boy. Wow. That's...
Yeah, it's... I'm having multiple times. And that...
Are you still looking at the Meghan McCain? Because that should...
It's kind of amazing that you have like this middle-aged man who is, by the way, not the most attractive person on the planet, talking shit about someone much younger than him who has done absolutely nothing wrong to him. How unbelievably immature and
who has daughters.
But who has daughters and like completely unaware is this guy. Like, has he looked in the mirror? Does he think that he's the hottest guy on the planet? Really? I mean, I have a visceral reaction every time I hear his name, right?
So you would say, I would say, to use Michael's word, that he is odious. That Glenn Beck is odious.
Yeah, he's the lowest of the low.
The lowest of the low. And of course, no, he doesn't care the effects that happen to his daughter because he's a complete narcissist. And that's if you want to know what a narcissist looks and sounds like, it's Glenn Beck personified. He is narcissism personified, willing to say or do, or remember when he used to cry all the time when that worked?
Yeah.
And then people got hip to it, so he stopped crying. He doesn't fucking cry anymore, the big bullshitter. So that's what this is, and now he's like, oh, now he's not in the news anymore, so now he has to come out and say, hey, I was wrong. I was dividing the country to get more attention. So this is all, again, narcissism, getting attention. And what's sad is how many people fall for this guy, right? People go, oh, you got to listen to this guy, Glenn Beck. I've met those people from my old neighborhood. And it's sad he actually has an influence on people. They fired Shirley Sherrod because they were afraid what Glenn Beck was going to say, for fuck's sake. Yeah. And now look at this guy. He's doing that. He's the worst of morning DJs, right? Yeah. And the worst of political bought and paid for people. He's the worst of all things combined, and yet he's given a platform by Rupert Murdoch, the guy who owns all media everywhere.
That's exactly right. You couldn't have said much more. I mean, he's not alone in that classification, but he is really bad. I mean, there are other people in that pool with him, though.
I just feel like in his little apology video on CNN, it just seems as though it's insincere. He doesn't mean what he's saying. It seems like really, really bad acting.
Well, I don't know that. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I didn't buy it at all, but I don't know that there's any way that he could apologize where I would believe that he was really remorseful. So, I mean, there's no, like, if that was real, it may have been real, but there's no there's nothing he could say that makes me believe that he really is remorseful and not doing it because it's part of his show.
He's just doing that for ratings.
Exactly.
He's doing that because we'll talk about him. He's doing that because he's a narcissist, because he needs attention.
Yeah.
And that he'll do anything to get it, including dressing up with a bow tie and glasses and looks like the Wells Fargo wagon man is coming.